Hi, welcome to today's video and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about this subject, the Canada Pension Plan changes for 2025. We're going to be looking at the three big changes that will happen with Canada Pension Plan, who it's going to affect, the amounts that you ought to be receiving, and then we're going to be asking you a question about your comments about Canada Pension Plan at the very end, so stick around. I'm really interested to hear your comments. So as always, put your comments below. I love reading these comments, and let's get started. There are three enhancements that happen to the Canada Pension Plan. The first is inflation adjustment. The second is YMPE. This is the year's Maximum Pensionable Earnings. This is the amount of money the government is using to tax you for your contributions towards the Canada Pension Plan. Of course, you may be aware there's a second tier. I'm going to get into that as well to show you what that means. And the third adjustment is the wage growth that's happening right now, 2025. All these enhancements that they've been doing on the Canada Pension Plan will be completed, and we're going to find out who these enhancements are going to benefit the most. So the first thing we're going to look at is, well, higher payouts for Canada Pension Plan. You can expect your CPP payments to go up by 2.7% this year. The way that is calculated, they look at the last 12 months of inflation ending October of last year, and they tell us that it was 2.7%. I don't believe them. I know that groceries cost me double-digit increases in gas, and so interesting to see where that 2.7 came from. And old age security is calculated on a quarterly basis, so we should find out about what old age security payments, how much they're going up by as well, but it's likely they'll be going up by about the same. Canada Pension Plan Enhancements. This is designed to move Canada Pension Plan from replacing 25% of your earnings while you're working, your annual earnings, to 33%. So that's good news, right? So we'd be getting more money when we retire. Things are going up, so the government is also increasing the amount of money that we'll be receiving. But we'll find out who's actually getting that money. And so starting this year, the maximum that the government is going to be using of your income to tax you towards your Canada Pension Plan is $81,200. And this will benefit mostly people who are going to retire in 30 years. But I have a great illustration to show you who this is really going to benefit. So you'll be able to see yourself in these things. So let's talk about Canada Pension Plan and CPP2. The earning ceiling for the first tier of the Canada Pension Plan is $71,300. It was $68,500. And the second ceiling is now going up to $81,200. So that was the highest ceiling, right? So there are two. If you make greater than $81,200, you're going to be contributing up to that $81,200. It's not a big amount of money for everybody in that second tier, but it is an enhancement to the Canada Pension Plan. All right, let's look at who this is going to benefit. So visually, let's have a look at this. We've got Robert, who is 65 years of age today. He started working in 1980, and there's going to be no changes. So if you're 65 years of age or older, you're not going to get any benefit from what's going on with the Canada Pension Plan. So you can just say, as Robert's doing, wave bye-bye, it doesn't matter for me. And then you've got Steve, who's 54 years of age. He started working in 1990. He's going to retire in 2030. He'll get about $500 more per year because he's contributing both the CPP1 and CPP2. Then you've got John, age 34. John's going to retire in 2050. He started working in 2010. And John's expected to get about $2,500 of extra benefits when he retires because he's got 25 years to go. So he's contributing longer. But this is who it's going to benefit the most, and that is the people that are 19 today. They're either just in the middle of university or coming out of university. They have 40 years of contributions in front of them. This is who's going to get this big enhancement. So really, the Steve and John are contributing, but really won't benefit all that much. Connor is going to have the lion's share of what's going to be in the CPP enhancement. 2025 payouts, let's talk about that. In January, the maximum payout for the Canada Pension Plan will be $1,433, starting at age 65. Any guesses as what the average is in Canada? It's about $800. Why is the average only $800? Because of either periods of low employment, so low earnings, no employment. There's periods of really just not being in Canada. So there's parts of it where you may have gone out of Canada for a little bit of time. So that could be considered low or no employment. And people taking their Canada Pension Plan early. So when you take it early, you don't get the maximum benefit. So, and surprisingly, most people don't take Canada Pension Plan at 65. It's actually lower, around 62, 63. So that you can see why the average is much lower. Now, how do you figure out how much Canada Pension Plan you're going to receive? Well, there's a couple of different ways. You can go online and create a My Service Canada account, and there you'll be able to see the estimate for your Canada Pension Plan. And the second is if you just call CPP, there's the number right there. You can just write that number down. And interestingly, you call it from Canada, United States. Now, keep in mind, when you're calling and asking this question, how much is my CPP going to be? They're going to give you the number assuming that you're working and you're contributing the full amount to your Canada Pension Plan until age 65. So bear in mind that if you are retiring at 58, you're not getting that. You're getting a lesser amount. If you're retiring at 60 and you're not contributing to 65, there's 5 years of zeros, right? So you have to ask the question, if I work and contribute to this age, what is my estimate? That's a better question to ask, okay? And some people will say, well, I'm not going to call a Canada Pension Plan because I wait too long. During COVID, the wait times were 3 hours or longer. And here's the wait times for the last year, and every month you can see how long it took before they picked up your call. And I'm not here to advocate and cheer for Canada Pension Plan in the government, but it's actually pretty surprising, isn't it, that the wait times were actually not that long at all. Okay, big question for you. For those of you who are nearing retirement, and I want you to look back and think about, was CPP and old age security, because you're nearing retirement. So when you think about, was CPP and old age security more or less needed for retirement? So it's really, when you look back, in other words, when you look back, is it surprising to know that Canada Pension Plan and old age security became a big part of your planning, that it was something that you really relied upon, and maybe you didn't think it was going to be? Because when I talk to younger people, they go, oh, Canada Pension Plan, it won't even be around when I go to retire, or I'm going to make so much money, I'm not going to need it anyway. And then when I talk to retirees now, many retirees are really relying on Canada Pension Plan to supply them with enough money to retire, to make their own personal savings last a little bit longer or a lot longer. So my question to you is, are you surprised by what you're seeing as you're moving into retirement? Was it something that you thought you weren't going to need, but now you do need? I'd love your comments about this, just to hear what you have to say. Well, thanks again for sticking around in this video. It was great to see you. As always, I love to hear your comments, so please put your comments below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, and be well.